What's up, guys? This is 5 tips on flying Delta, things you don't want to miss. Are you about to take a trip on Delta? You want to know these tips. Let's make this super quick, super easy. It's going to make your flight so much better. Trust me, I've been flying for years all over the world, all over the United States. I've taken hundreds and hundreds of flights. So I'm going to teach you things here that I learned the hard way so you don't have to. Are you ready? Tip number 1. This is something that I find, especially since I've been doing this quite a while and doing these videos for quite a while, that people don't know. You should buy direct from the airlines. Okay, guys, I know I tell you guys all the time, book directly with the airlines, with the hotels. Every video I've done on here and on my main channel has always been that, right? But I've always also told you to use things like Expedia, Google Flights, the Hopper, things like that to track your flights and figure out like where the better deals are and then go directly to the airlines. But I'm interrupting this video because I've got a new tool that some friends told me about that I'm loving. I've already booked flights with it for my family and some friends, and I'm searching on it for me. It's called Skyscanner. It's an awesome website and app, and it actually lets you find affordable, amazing, cheap flights. The best deals you're going to find online without all the like incognito and VPNs and trying to like trick it. This site just works. I'm going to put the link down below in the description. It is an affiliate link, so I make a little bit of money when you book your flights, but that is not, that's not the deal here. I'm just trying to tell you guys where to find the best deals. In fact, this is a Delta video, and I'm booking a Delta flight for my family. They're going over to California, and I found the best deal through Skyscanner, and you still book directly through Delta, so you don't lose anything there. Nothing is lost there. So I just want to tell you guys about that. Ready? Back to the video. But here's why. Here's the reason why. Because you're like, I use Expedia all the time. It's all okay. It's everything fine. Okay? This is why I've done it. I use Priceline, Expedia, all the things. Because I thought, cheaper and all this stuff. And then your flight gets canceled. Or there's a problem or delays or something. You can't deal with the airlines. You have to deal with Expedia or Priceline or Travelocity, and that is a freaking nightmare. Plus, they have all these rules and policies. You can't get refunds. They're not going to guarantee anything. I mean, it's insane. If you have trouble, you're screwed essentially. So buy direct from the airlines, because then they can deal with you immediately. They can get you another flight. They can book you the gate, the counter, the phone. I'm going to give you a tip on how to get to people the quickest way in this video to get the quickest support. So stay tuned for that. But I'm telling you, just take my advice here, because especially these days with all the delays and the cancellations and mechanical issues that they're having now, because planes are getting older and they're not replacing them, and all the Boeing issues is delaying the replacements. Whew, it's a lot of stuff, okay? Still the safest way to travel, but buy direct. But use those other tools to look for your tickets. Now remember, this video is about domestic Delta, not Delta International. They're two different beasts. I'm going to get into that a little later. But this video is specifically to the United States of America, domestic flights from Delta Airlines. Cool? So the next thing when you're booking your tickets on this tip number 1 is you have 4 different seat types. You have basic, main, comfort plus, and first. Now this is domestic. International has economy, premium economy, business, and first. Totally different things. Remember, this is about domestic. So if you buy a basic, you're going to get no seat selection, no carry-on. You get one personal item like a backpack, a handbag, something like that. And then your seat's going to randomly be chosen for you. You might end up in the middle seat. You might end up in the back. You might end up... And some people are cool with that. They just want the savings. They don't really care. It's a quick trip. You're young or whatever it is. I know some people that do this on a lot of airlines, and it's fine. So that's why it's there, right? And then you have main. So main gives you a seat selection and a carry-on. But it's like economy. It's like the basic economy that used to be. And carry-on is just a standard carry-on, USD standard sizes that you can get it away, July, Ridge level 8. There's some really great luggages out there now. I'll talk about that later in another tip about gear, so stay tuned for that. But then you go to Comfort Plus. Now, Comfort Plus is not a lot. It gives you a little bit more legroom, and by a little I mean like did much more legroom. But it also gives you at the front, more closer to the front of the airline. It gives you a better boarding position, so you get on the plane sooner. And a lot of people are like, why do I care? Well, you care because if you want to take a carry-on and you want to put it on the plane, the sooner you get on, the more chances there's going to be space for you to put that carry-on up in the bin. And that's another reason why a lot of people buy Comfort Plus, because it guarantees you space. So a lot of times these days, flights are full. They didn't used to be before COVID, but now almost every single flight I've been on, internationally and domestically, have been just packed full. And when that happens, they'll make an announcement. Hey, it's a full flight. We're not going to get all the luggage on, so come and check your bag. And a lot of people run up there because they're all scared and stuff. Never do that. Take your carry-on with you. Fight for it. I mean, don't argue with them or anything, but like stand your ground. Like say, hey, I've got to take this with me. Especially if you don't have any checked bags, because you paid for it. Take it on with you. Okay? You want to have it there with you. Get off the plane. It's faster to get out of the airport than waiting for your checked bag. That's a pro tip. And then you have First. And First, I've flown First. I just flew First from New York to Dallas. First is really great if you can afford it, if you can find a good deal. A lot of times when you buy Main or Comfort Plus, right as you check in or right before you check in, they will give you a little thing in the app that says, hey, upgrade to First for $100. And I don't get that as much anymore because, like I said, the flights are full. And that also means First is full. So I don't get that as much anymore, like very rarely. But it does occasionally pop up on certain legs that it's not full and they're like trying to sell that seat for like $100, $200, whatever. And you got to decide, is it a good deal or not? So if you find a good deal, First Class gives you a really nice big seat. And for you international watchers, Premium Economy is equivalent to First Class Domestic. They're about the same seat size, about the same pitch. There's a little differences in what you get and screens and stuff, but it's about the same. And then you also get to get on First, which again, I know a lot of people are like, why do I want to get on? But if you have a carry-on, you want to get on. I've even been in First where they guarantee you a space, and I've had to put my luggage behind First because, somebody brought a lot of stuff. I'm one of those. I flew international back to the States and then flew domestic back to Dallas, and I had a lot of stuff. And one of the guys on the plane was even like, you gonna take up the whole space? I'm like, hey, I paid for the seat. I got on here first, and that's my bin space. You just gotta live with it. I'm not trying to be rude, but that's how it goes. Get on the plane. You also get priority security, which is a brilliant thing, especially if you come to security. This is only in certain airports that have priority security. But when you get there and you see that long line, and you get to just go and there's like 3 people, saves you a lot of time and hassle to get to your security. It doesn't speed security up as far as like the TSA screening. You still have to put your luggage in and do all your stuff, take your shoes off if you're not pre-checked, all that stuff. But it just gets you to the front of the line faster. And that's a huge thing. It's just a really nice thing. It also gets you free snacks, free drinks. If they have a screen, free movies and stuff, free TV. I don't really use that unless it's a long flight. I just listen to stuff on my phone. I'm going to talk about that in a different tip. But for you guys that want to know the differences, that's the differences. You get a lot more legroom, a lot bigger seat. There's water waiting at you when you get on, but it's just usually a little water. So we'll talk about that in a minute as well. Another big question I get around this buying tickets, we're still on tip number 1, I'm sorry. Just want to make sure I get everything in for you guys, is when I go to check in, does it just check me in or does it check everybody in? Does everybody have to check in individually? So if you bought your tickets together, you went on to delta.com and you said, I need 4 seats, 2 adults, 2 children or whatever, 4 adults, and you picked all your seats and you bought the tickets. When you go to check in, it's going to give you the option to check everybody in. You'll see some check boxes, or if you're in the app, you'll be able to select them, and then you'll check them all in, and it'll issue the boarding passes and everything for you. And again, this is domestic, not international. International's different. Got to show your passport and stuff. There's a lot of stuff there that's a little different with checking in. But this is another question I get. If I buy basic, remember basic, you don't get a seat selection, you don't get to take a carry-on. If you have 4 people, it does not guarantee you that you'll be together. They will try to put you together, like especially if it's a parents and 2 kids, they'll try to put like one parent with a kid and one parent. But I've seen this before. I've sat there and watched this happen, and people get frustrated. But you paid for this really basic seat. Like you can't get frustrated. If you wanted to be together, then you had to pay them more money to get to the main and select your 4 seats together. It's just the way things are. If you get mad about it, you're just mad at yourself. Like, that's just how it is. So a lot of people have asked me this question, so I just want to make sure that you understood. And checking in luggage, if you do take check-in luggage, if you're first class, you get 2 free check luggages up to 50 pounds each. If you're not first class, if you're basic, main, or Comfort Plus, you get 0 check baggage. You have to pay for them. So I'll put the price here of what those are, but it is what it is. I don't check a lot of luggage, so this is not a big deal to me. And when I only check luggage when I fly international, and that's usually included with my business class seats. So it's just something to think about. And yes, another question I get is, do I have to take check luggage? Can I take a box or something? People take all kinds of things. I've seen huge surfboards. I've seen huge instruments, skateboards. You can take a box of stuff. It's the same thing. It just can't be over 50 pounds, or you pay extra, all that stuff. And if you're in main, basic, or Comfort Plus, you're going to pay for it just like a check luggage. Tip number 2 is all about TSA airport security and boarding the plane. So security, again, first class, you're going to get right through priority security if that airport supports that. There are some airports that don't have priority lanes, and it sucks. If you have an Amex like Platinum Business Card, or you just pay for Clear, which is $199 a year, you can use Clear. It speeds it up a little bit faster too. There's no background checks or anything like pre-check. It's just basically like you're paying to like get to the front of the line. So if you fly a lot, it might be good. Same with pre-check. You need to fly like, once a week, or, at least like 6, 7, 8 times a year, like a lot, to go through that process, because you got to book an appointment. You got to pay a fee. You got to wait a long time because it's all government stuff. Wait a long time. You got to go to the airport to your interview, do a personal interview, all this stuff. And then they approve you. They do a background check. They do all this stuff. Global entry is the same way. But it is nice. So if you fly a lot, it's worth it. Again, Platinum card. There's some other cards out there that give that to you for free, or you just can pay for it. It's not that much. I think it's like $100 for a few years. But then you can go through security through a special line and get through, even if you're economy, even if you're basic, no shoes off. So there are some advantages to that. Let me see if I can make this super clear, because on all my airline videos I get this question, and I don't know how to make it more clear, but you cannot take water. You cannot take water. You cannot take any liquids except small little, like, travel size liquids like a mouthwash or something. It has to be like a tiny, tiny little bit, just an ounce or so. You cannot take it through TSA security. In America, in the domestic Delta or any airlines, you cannot take that through security. It's not allowed. They will take it from you. They will throw it out. They will cause you a delay because they'll pull you aside. You can, however, there's one liquid they will allow, and that's breast milk. Just for your mothers out there and your parents, you have to freeze it, and you have to tell them before you go through the line. Like, as soon as you get to the line, you're putting your luggage up and everything, you have to say, hey, I have frozen breast milk, so that they know how to treat that properly, because that is one of the things that they do allow. So there's been a few videos on frozen water, like people have frozen their water and it makes it through because it's solid. I don't know, like I guess you hope it thaws out in time to be able to drink it. It seems like a big headache, but whatever you want to do, just know that there's risk there. No water. So you can take some other things through there. So you can take some snacks from the store. Like I run to Walmart and get those, and I'll talk about that in another tip. You can take sealed snacks through there and save money that way. So now you're through security. You did all the like And I've got a whole video on how to get through TSA security faster, like pro tips and hacks. So watch that video. I'll put it at the end of this video. That way you can get through security super fast. You can look like a pro and not look like somebody who's flying like a novice. Even if it's your first flight, if you follow my tips, they're going to think you have flown for years. It's awesome. Stuff I've all learned. I go through security like this. Boom, boom, boom. Except when I'm traveling with all my gear for YouTube and stuff. Then they're like, why all the cameras? Why all the wires? No, 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 no. It's all, that's how it goes. That's just normal. You're at the gate and it's time to board. What do? It's Delta. Just remember, this is one of the best airlines in America. Love Delta. I've flown them for probably 20 years now, at least 15. I've had a couple of problems, but very minor. They're always just so nice, so good. The quality of the planes, the quality of the seats. It's just a good airline. So you're there, you're at the gate, and they're like, we're ready to board. Military and veterans are going to go first, handicap, and then usually family with small children are going to get on. This allows people to get down the ramp and onto the plane and kind of get situated that need a little extra time. And that's perfectly fine. And then they're going to do a boarding by the group number. In fact, Delta just changed this to zones. So there's zone 1 through 8. And then you're going to be 1 through 2 if you're first or elite. And then 3 through 4 is comfort plus. And then 5 through 7 is main. And then 8 is basic. I mean, that's just how it goes, It's just how the world goes. It's just the way things are. So don't be mad at the system. It just is what it is. I promise you, if you'll just listen to these tips, what my goal here is to put you in control of what you can control, which brings you peace, lessens your anxiety, and gives you patience, right? So if you relax and you're like, this is what it is, this is how flying is, and I'm all ready to go, by the end of this video, you're going to be like, I got this. Because when you got this, no matter what happens, delays, cancellations, all this, you're going to be prepared. You're going to know what to do. And you're going to be like, I got this. And I'm good to go. This is what happens. This is part of the adventure of flying. Right? It just is what it is. If you get all mad and like, oh my goodness, I've seen people like running down the aisle, so worked up about missing their connection. And you're either going to miss it or you're not. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But those are the zones. That's how it goes when you're boarding the plane. So if you're got status, like you've got a credit card or something, you're probably going to end up in zone 4. That's the Sky Priority customers that have Sky Priority cards. So don't think you're going to be in first. Those people pay a lot of money, or unless you're elite status, you're not going to zone in 1 or 2. Diamond medallions and Delta Premium select cabins, passengers, stuff like that, we'll do zone 2. I hope this is helping you guys. Is it helping you? Are you feeling like this is going to be some awesome tips? Because I've got a lot more coming that you're going to want to hear. So hang with me. Tip number 3. This is a big one. This is one that I am shocked that even people that I've flown with, like for business and stuff, that have flown for years, don't know. I'll be like, I'm gonna stop and get water and snacks, and they're like, why? They serve it on the plane. Like, you have been doing this for so long, okay? So always after the security, remember again, if you didn't just watch the last tip, after security, you cannot take water or big liquids like this through TSA security. So when you're through the airport security, there's tons of stores, there's vending machines. Find a big bottle of water. Also, I always, especially depending on how long the flight is, if it's over 2 hours, I'll get a Coke or a juice or something a little different, and always get a snack. Now, if you brought your snacks with you from home, you can do that. You can go to 7-Eleven, you can go to Target, Walmart, wherever, and they're a lot cheaper, of course, than buying them at the airport. Get you some peanuts or get you some pretzels or popcorn or whatever, something salty, something sweet. You may not even need it. But what if you do? Again, this video is all about putting you in control of the things you can control. I'm here to help you. This is a big one, and I'm going to tell you why, okay? I've been on the tarmac late at night, for 4 hours because there was a storm and no one would clear the plane to take off and they didn't want to go back to the gate. It's all these rules and stuff. 4 hours. And I'd run through the airport because I was late. I was sweating. I was thirsty. They didn't serve us 1 ounce of water, no snacks. You know what I learned right there? Get freaking water. Be in control. I never had that happen again. I have been delayed so many times. I just was in the Philippines. We got on the plane on time. The plane was there. We all boarded early. We took off from the gate. We're taxiing. Suddenly, they stop. 30 minutes later, we start going again. We're like, okay. We end up back at the gate. Supposedly, they needed gas. They forgot to gas up. And then, we sat there for 3 hours. But you know what? I use these tips. We use these tips. And we were just like, we were frustrated. It was late at night. We're tired. We're like, what the frick? But you're still in control. We had plenty of water. Even she was like, why did you need to buy those big waters? And then I looked over and I was like, you glad we bought the big waters? She was like, yeah. Because we were thirsty. It was hot out. We had been going in the heat, touring stuff all day, and we were exhausted. We had that water, we had that snack, and we had the stuff from tip number 4 that I'm just going to tell you about. It's just perfect combination. I can go on and on and on. There's so many stories. There was one time there was a tornado. We all loaded on the plane. And then they're like, oh, we have to get off and shelter. Don't take any of your stuff. Biggest mistake I ever made. I should have grabbed my stuff. Went down into a tunnel for 2 hours. Loaded us back on the plane. And then sat there another 2 hours. And then finally took off. I mean, I got in at like 2 in the morning. And I had to go to work the next day because I was flying to work. Like at 8 a.m. It's just like, they don't care. They don't care that they're disrupting your plans. One of my family members just had her whole flight canceled. She lost a whole day of her vacation, had to spend hours on the phone shifting things around for her family. Because you book things, you plan things, especially if it's a vacation or something. So I have a lot of tips on international long-haul flights. So if you're looking for that, please watch my other videos because I've got so many tips on like, don't book things the first day and a lot of stuff there. I don't want to get into that. This is a Delta video. But flying Delta, I promise you, you're going to end up in a situation where you're going to wish. And I've even had people say, I'm in first class. They give me stuff. You know what? You know how many times I've been in the air? And they said there's turbulence. They can't get up. The flight attendants are not allowed to get up, even in first class. No water, no snacks. You think that little water is going to last you that long over like a 6-hour flight? I have been on Southwest flights. I have been on American flights. I've been on Delta flights where they say the turbulence is bad. Please stay seated. You don't know what's going to happen. You cannot assume you're going to get your little tiny drink and your little snack. Be in control. I promise you, you're going to have a better trip this way. Because when everyone else is like, oh, no, you're going to be like, chillin'. I'm chillin' like a zealand. Hey, another thing that a lot of people comment on that I don't really do, but you can take a Yeti bottle or a tumbler or something that's empty through TSA security. And at most airports, at the restrooms, they have bottle fillers. So you can fill up your bottle with water. If you're on a budget or you just prefer that, whatever your situation is, you can do that. So I just want to state that because a lot of people in the comments are like, you can take your own bottle, fill it up. Okay, great. Thank you. I'm glad you can do that. Love you guys for doing that. Everyone has a different budget and different styles of things. So if you need water that way, they do put that in there. It's really nice feature. And I've seen it a lot of places that I've been to. Little pro tip here, if you have to carry with a pet, it's a great place to fill up their like water bottle so they can drink. We have done that. So, yeah. A little pro tip here around this situation or around any situation, because there's going to be delays, there's going to be problems, there's going to be things with any airline. No airline is in 100% control. So be patient with your flight attendants and with your gate crew. It's not their fault. They didn't cause the plane to have mechanical issues or to be late or cause a storm in the air. And they're working hard and they're dealing with a high stress job. So be patient with them. Take a breath. and enjoy the moment, enjoy the adventure. It's part of it. Connections, I know you're worried about those connections, but you're either going to make it or you're not. And if you don't, you know what? Those hardworking flight attendants and gate crews are going to make sure you get on another flight. And if you're super nice to them, they're going to really take care of you, because you know how many people aren't nice to them, that don't treat them like humans? So always, always be nice to them. Be kind. Go with the flow. Don't be all like stressed and like, no, 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 I'm not going to make it. Don't dash down the plane like you're the only special person on the plane worried about your connections. Be respectful. There's a proper way to board the plane and unboard the plane. And that is, the first seat goes, the first aisle goes, and the second aisle goes, and the third aisle goes, and the fourth aisle, and the fifth aisle. And it goes like that. You don't push through and run up. You don't jump up and like run to the front of the plane. I don't care what the situation is. You need to have class, a spirit of excellence, and respect and manners. I'm so sick of seeing the lack of manners more and more. I was in first class flying from New York to Delta. First class with like some pretty nice looking people. And this guy behind me kept putting his sock foot against my on my armrest against my elbow, and I had to keep kicking it down. I wish I had videoed it. I was just in shock. Like, what is going on? Like, how in the world do you think it's okay to invade my space like that? And I've seen tons of TikToks and videos where people are doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Stop. Don't be that person. Have a spirit of excellence. Be a mature adult. And I promise you it'll get you far in life. Like, don't listen to your music out loud. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but I've seen that so much. Just don't do it. Be nice to the flight attendants. Don't bug them. Don't hit that button. When we were delayed one time for like 3 hours, this one lady was just like, ding, ding, ding. I was like, she can't change it. Leave her alone. Tip number 4. So this goes along with tip number 3, but it needs its own space. So it's entertainment, headphones, and gear. Because after you get your snacks and water, you still need a little bit more stuff to be in control, okay? So entertainment, a lot of people get this wrong. They're like, it's on my phone, you know? Southwest, Delta, all of the airlines now pretty much have a thing in their app that gives you free TV, free movies, free radio. And a lot of Delta flights still have the screens in front of you. What if that's down? What if it's not working? It's happened. It's happened to me. It's happened many times to me. What if it's down? Or what if it doesn't have anything you want to watch or listen to? So what I recommend here is go to your apps. If you have Netflix, Peacock, Disney Plus, podcasts like your Audible, your Spotify, Amazon Prime, whatever. Hulu's the only one that's kind of finicky about this. But go there and download stuff. Download your TV series. Download your movies. Just have some variety downloaded offline onto your phone or iPad. Something that puts you in control of what you want to like relax and entertain. Of course, like an hour flight, maybe just download some Spotify and a podcast or something. But if you're on a 6-hour flight, like from Atlanta to Seattle or LA to New York, then you might want some more stuff to like chill out on. A good book, a good movie, maybe a TV series you're watching. And you can always just use it later or delete it, but it's there for you. You might need it. You always want a little variety too, because you don't know what kind of mood you're going to be in. You know how that goes. Another big one that a lot of people don't get is noise canceling headphones. Either they don't want to spend the money, and you shouldn't if you don't fly a lot. If you fly once a year or something, it's not worth it. But a friend finally convinced me to spend the money and said, hey, you can return them if you don't like them. And so I bought these Bose Quiet Comforts. And that was 6 years ago? 6.5 years ago. And they still look like new. They still work like new. The battery lasts forever. But the most beautiful thing is they're super comfortable. And they cancel the noise out. Screaming babies. Sometimes dogs barking. Sometimes just rude, immature adults that are talking like they're the only one on the plane. Like so loud. that's embarrassing that they talk that loud, that they don't have manners, that they act like immature brats or stuck up, just lost and abandoned from any awareness of being human. We're all in a tube together. Don't bring stinky food. Don't listen to your music out loud. Don't let your kids play games out loud. Be respectful. Be respectful. There was a time when I never heard a flight attendant announce, hey, you gotta have headphones. Now they do it all the time because people just have lost the ability to care for other human beings sitting next to them. What is that about? Don't be that person. Be a person, a spirit of excellence with manners and care for your fellow men and women and children. Apart from the headphones, even if you just have some AirPod Pros or you have some, I use Pixel Bud Pros sometimes because I don't want the big over the ear. I have Apple Pod Maxes. It just depends on what the flight is, how long it is, what I'm in the mood for. The Apple Pod Maxes are super comfortable. The Bose are my favorite. And I also use these a lot because they just fit in my pocket and they're noise canceling. And they're really comfortable too. I've did a whole video on this, so be sure and check that out on my main channel, on Zach's channel. Another great thing that you need is called a fly flap. It's this little like $15 thing that bends around. Oh my goodness, I've used that so many times. It fits on the tray holder or in the pocket, and it holds your phone. Like you can set your phone there, and it's so much better than like looking down on the tray, and like, you know, you're like, I can just look and see the phone, you know, it gets it out of your hands. If you know, it's just it's something I've used probably now for like 5 or 6 years. I found it on Amazon. Again, all these links are down in the description below to the headphones. Everything I mentioned in here is going to be down below so you can check it out. If you use my links, they are affiliate links most of the time, so that make a little tiny bit of money that supports the channel. And I greatly appreciate when you guys support the channel because it's a lot of work to put all these videos together. And I do it, I don't make money off of it. I just do it because I love to help you guys. And we're all supposed to help each other out, right? We're all traveling people. So we gotta watch each other's backs. So another big tip that I love that I've got to tell you guys about is carry-on luggage. I used to go and buy cheap carry-on luggage and then would break and just buy another one. Then I finally started doing research and got into more higher end luggage. Because a long time I thought, why you guys spend so much money on luggage? But then I got my first away travel luggage bag 2019 or so like a few years ago, and I've used that thing crazy a lot. I loved it because it came with a built-in battery pack, so you could pop it out and take it with you, especially international flights. We do tours and stuff and need to charge our phones so we could carry it with us in taxis and stuff. But even walking down the airport, you could charge your phone, you can pop it out, keep it on the plane with you. It's just so versatile. Not to mention, it's like a magic bag with the compression sleeve. You can fit so much in there. It is insane how much you can fit in there. But they recently stopped putting the battery packs in them. So I've switched to a new brand called July that has an updated battery pack with USB-C and also has all the magic features that Away had. The compression side, the beautiful structures, the wheels that just glide, it holds up, it never ever breaks. I can trust on it. In fact, love these so much that all my family has them now. I have given them away as gifts to people, you know, that couldn't afford these kind of things, just to help them out because they travel a lot for like ministry or missions and stuff like that. So just, I can't say enough about them. And I'll put a link down below. That one's not an affiliate link, but you can check it out anyways and see if it's something that fits you. I also didn't spend a lot of money on checked luggage because I don't check a luggage a lot. And I just thought, you know what, but then we had one break on us in Rome and I was like, I'm going to go to Away, and I got a great deal like on a special sale. They rarely have sales, but like on a July sale, I got this beautiful green large check luggage, and it has been just amazing. I've used it on every international trip and some on domestic flights when I needed it. So highly recommend that. You know, again, I'm not making any money off those. I'm just telling you guys about them and why I love them. There's also Ridge, there's Level 8. There's some really good ones out there that a lot of other YouTubers push and talk about. I know MKBHD has a whole deal with Ridge, Rigid or something like that, and they look amazing. I've not tried them. but there's some good luggage out there. So you don't have to take it from me, but I recommend either away travel or July if you want the battery pack. Let's talk about the charger. So a lot of people are like, no, 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 no. Every plane has a charger now. Okay. 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 Preach a little bit. So the reason I recommend a charger for you travelers is because what if that charger's broken? It's been broken for me. What if it's out of order? What if somebody broke it or it's just not working? What if the plane doesn't have some? Because I've been on some planes that don't have them still. It's not on every plane. So yes, most planes are, they're coming out finally into the new, generation of needing to charge everything. So I carry this little charger. It's very cheap on Amazon. Again, I'll put the link down in the description. We carry it everywhere. Every flight, international, domestic, and it just pops into your phone. Boom. Pops right in your phone, and it gives you a charge. No wires. Why do you want to have a wire that's like running around everywhere and connected to your phone? This way you can hold your phone still, use it, watch movies with it, and it's charging. I promise you it's worth having. And again, your backup is if you've bought the away with the battery pack or you buy the July with the battery pack, you have a backup. So if the outlet's out or something and you don't have this little small charger, or it's dead or something, whatever the case, you're in control. Remember, this is all about you controlling what you can control. If that phone dies on you, what are you gonna do the whole flight? What are you gonna do when you get there when you need to do an Uber or a Lyft or something like that? You know what I'm saying? These are my pro tips here that are gonna save you a lot of heartache and make your trip so much more comfortable and reduce your anxiety. Here's a little pro tip going back to downloading the content that a lot of people miss, I've missed, is if you download the content like from Netflix or Peacock like a week before your flight, sometimes different streaming services have different expiration times. So always check your apps and your downloads like the day before your flight. Put a reminder, say, hey Siri or hey Google, whatever you're using, remind me at this time to check this, because you'll get on the flight, and I've done this. Oh, I thought I was all prepared, and then I get on the flight and it says expired. So, and you don't want to do it with data. You want to do it at home with your Wi-Fi because it's faster and smoother. If it needs to re-download, a lot of times it doesn't need to re-download. It just needs to re-authenticate with the service, and then you're good. So usually I think it's about a week that they give you, 7 days, and then they start expiring them. But every service is different, and I don't have that list in front of me. But that's a little pro tip, so you don't get caught with your pants down. I just want to say again, Delta Airlines is an amazing airline. I wish they flew more here in Dallas. I don't get to fly them much anymore because they don't really fly here, except when I go to like Atlanta. When I lived in Seattle, I flew them all the time because they had a hub there. They flew a lot of flights out of there. But they're an amazing airline. I've flown them coast to coast many times. The crew and the flight attendants and the pilots are always so awesome. So just be nice to them. Thank them for their kindness, because it's a rare thing these days, right? You know it. It's a rare thing. Okay, we're ready for tip number 5. Are you still with me? Are you still with me? Because these tips are making your trip so much better. I promise you. I hope you're writing them down, or at least doing some short notes on like, get snacks, get water, download content. Because I promise you, I've been flying for years, and this stuff is going to make your life easier. Your whole family's going to thank you. That is why you're watching this video, right? You're doing your research, which is wise. Don't just go get on a plane. Okay, so tip number 5 is going to make your life easier too, because it's all about the quickest way to get to support. This little hack I found out, a lot of people don't know this. I think that's why it's so quick, and hopefully you won't tell nobody, okay? Keep it a secret. But X.com, formerly known as Twitter, is the fastest way to get to any airline, especially Delta. If you have problems, if you want to change your flight, if you want to ask a question, if you want to extend your flight, like maybe you decide to stay longer, or maybe you decide to go later, or you need earlier flight, maybe your flight got canceled or delayed. In those situations, you want to be careful, because if it's canceled and everyone's trying to get a flight, sometimes it's faster to call. But this is still sometimes faster. Go on Twitter, follow them. Go on X. Sorry. Oops. I still make that mistake. Go on X. Follow Delta, their official blue checked airline place, and then there's a little envelope and you can write them, contact them, put your confirmation number, your full name, all that information in there, because you want to give them as much information as you can so they can quickly help you. And they respond super fast and they're super powerful. They can make those changes. Even when during COVID we had a huge international flight through Delta to Japan, and then back to the States. And we had, things got canceled, things got crazy, so we had to keep like pushing it out. And a lot of that was done right there on X. Just like talking to them, chatting with them, saying, hey, can we move it to these dates? What's this? It's a beautiful thing. And I'm just saying it's a little secret, okay? Don't tell nobody. Because I don't want everybody to go rush into X and ruin this for me, okay? It's just between me and you. If you're at the airport, screw all that. Ignore everything I said. Run to the gate. Run to the closest Delta employee you can find. Go to the gate. Go to the counter. Go to the customer. A lot of the bigger airports have a customer service, like where Delta's hubbed or their Delta wing. They'll have their Delta customer service. Go there. They have the most power, the fastest power. They can get you on another flight. It's even faster than calling usually, unless there's a long line. Then sometimes I'll call and stand in line. That way, whoever gets to me first is gonna win the prize of helping me, And be nice, be kind, be understanding that it's not their fault. Okay. They will help you this way more. Okay. Shh. All right. If you're still with me, I love you guys. This has been amazing. I got one more bonus for you if you want to stay. If not, thank you for watching. I love you guys. I know you're going to have the most amazing flight because of these tips. But here's one more little tip that some people just don't think about. And I help friends and family with this all the time. They're like, what do you suggest? Take nonstop flights. Even if you love Delta with all your heart and they don't have a nonstop flight, find an airline that has a nonstop flight. Even if it's like crappy Spirit or something like that, find an airline that has a nonstop flight, because once you get on that plane and it takes off, you're getting to your destination. It doesn't matter who you fly if you have a connection, because you're immediately at a 50% risk if that flight takes off late, if that flight goes into a problem. Like I've taken off on time, but then there's been a storm and we've had to circle the city for like an hour. I'm telling you, I've flown a lot, I've come across a lot of things, and I'm just telling you, try with all your heart to avoid connections, because inevitably with connections you'll get stuck somewhere. I've had so many friends and family members and people write me even on here that have had to sleep in airports or get a hotel or because of this kind of issue. Now, the airlines will take care of you. They're going to book you into the flight. A lot of times they'll give you a hotel voucher or something. But avoid that chaos if you can. And avoid the risk of the chaos. And it doesn't happen every time. I've flown many connections. And you just hop off, get on the next plane, boom, boom, boom. And it's fine. But you're reducing your risk of problems if you do a nonstop. So sometimes we'll fly an airline we don't love or don't like for that reason. So this channel is all about affordable luxury travel, going to places in style on a budget. Don't break the bank, don't go into debt. But I do tons and tons of research, and we travel like in business class. Internationally, I fly first class here. We stay in nice hotels when we travel. We rent nice cars. We do nice things, but we don't spend as much money as people think, because we do a lot of research and a lot of tip stuff. And that's what I'm bringing here to this channel. I'm trying to help you learn how to travel. Maybe you're thinking, I can't afford that trip. I can't afford to travel on that trip because I've got to save up like this astronomical amount. It's not true. Or I've got to put it on my credit card. Don't do it. I can help you. And I'm also going to come out with all these trip planners where if you go to the cities I've been to that have done all this research, you're going to get a day-by-day thing to get the maximum out of your trip and not have to think about anything. You just fly over there. I'm going to tell you the hotels to stay at, the restaurants to eat at, the places to go, when to go, when's the best time to go, how to get there, all that stuff. It's all coming soon. So be sure and hit that subscribe button. You'll get notified first when I launch that. It'll be in the descriptions of my videos. I just want to help you guys have an amazing trip. That is my heartbeat. I love planning trips and I love finding ways to have like classy. I like classy things. I like to stay in nice places, but I'm not rich. I can't spend like a ton of money not going into debt to take a trip. That's painful and stupid. Like by the time you end up paying for that trip, you paid like way more than you should have. So that is what this channel is all about. And I love seeing your beautiful faces. And I thank you so much for watching today. I truly hope this helps you. And I hope you have an amazing trip. And hey, I'll catch you in the next Zach's travel video. Peace. Safe travels. Keep exploring.